A group of farmers fears being kicked off a farm they successfully reclaimed as part of the land redistribution. The farmers allege that they're being evicted for refusing to pay bribes. They say they have constantly been trying to dodge corruption or corrupt officials from the Department of Agriculture in Ermelo. Now, the alleged harassment has brought fears of emerging farmers' exclusion from the redistribution process. Joining us now is the man who wrote this particular story. It appeared in last week's City Press newspaper, and that's journalist Jan de Lange. Jan, a very good morning to you. Thank you so much for making the time to speak to us. Tell us about the plight of these farmers and, if possible, who are these officials from the Department of Agriculture who want bribes?
Xoli, there's been anecdotal evidence of abuse with farmland, state-owned farmland that's been granted for emerging farmers over the last year that emerges. But this is a group of farmers in the Ermelo district, in Katsibande municipal district in Mpumalanga, of 17 farmers who discovered that they all are struggling with the same fate, and all of them have been given eviction notices. And the remarkable thing about this is these are extremely successful farmers who, you know, some of them as herds of cattle, up to 500 pieces of cattle. One of them, Mr. Mabasa, has been farming on his land since he was born there. The land that he's on is 1,400 hectares. It's been given to his family in 1886, and he's extremely successful. He has a herd of 270 pedigree cattle. He farms he has an apple orchard that he stopped harvesting these apples because the local officials from the Department of Land Affairs have demanded that he pays all the profits from that orchard to them, and so that they can so-called distribute it among community members. And he was instructed to pay a so-called administration fee of 250,000 rand to get his land registered in his name. 250,000 rand, it seems to be a going rate. Several of them have been asked to pay this amount to keep their money off. Another one is a small chicken farmer on a small farm, 43 hectares. He produces 125,000 chickens per week. It's highly intensive, highly invested, established. It's a business. It's a real business. And he's evicted. And he's been told that his farm has already been allocated to someone else, probably someone who's also paid a bribe.
And Jan, this administration fee of 250,000, you're saying that it seems to be the fee that is the going rate there. First of all, is it legal that these farmers pay this? And if not, who within the Provincial Department of Agriculture should be held accountable?
It's highly illegal. They've been granted, some of them have been granted lease agreements with a paid lease. And the lease amount per annum is determined in terms of some formats and by some way connected to the value of the land and the infrastructure on the land, and that determines the lease, and that's a fixed amount that they have to pay. Some of them have been granted 100,000 rand COVID grant that was given to farmers. They would have qualified if they had certainty of their land. None of them got the grant because they don't have lease agreements. The process, the person who did this was the chief director of the Department of Land Affairs based in Ermelo. He's a guy by the name Nyoni, Dan and Nyoni. He passed away in July, but the evictions are continuing, and they've been Mabasa, who's been there for all his life, has been given a notice to leave his land on the 30th. His farm has actually been advertised on the 31st, on the 27th of August this year. So, he wasn't even notified that he has to leave. His farm is simply advertised, someone else is going to lease it and kick him out.
Jan de Lange, unfortunately we're going to have to leave it there, but this is a very, very important story coming off the back of a decision by Cabinet to basically send back to Parliament the whole legislation surrounding the expropriation bill. And we're going to have to talk to the Minister of Agriculture and Land Affairs here, Toboti Diza, to find out whether he's aware of the plight being faced by the farmers.